She's the biggest star you've probably never heard of. Grammy Award-winning Chilean singer, songwriter, and actress Mon Laferte has had a stellar career. With her tattoos and raspy, soulful voice, some call her the Latin American Amy Winehouse. She's the most listened to Chilean artist on Spotify worldwide, the Chilean artist with the most sales in the digital era, and her songs typically get millions of clicks on YouTube. Now, after conquering the Spanish-speaking world, she's got her eyes set on a European audience. France 24's Erika Olavarria sat down with her before a recent concert she gave in Paris to talk about her latest album called Norma.
Europe is amazing. I love, before all else, performing. I also enjoy performing in small venues. It's a chance to win over new fans. I always talked about love in my previous 4 albums, but in a more general way. I wrote songs about my grandmother, my nephews, my neighborhood. But Norma is about a couple's relationship. So I wanted to create a snapshot of contemporary love, relationships today. I've lived in Mexico for the last 12 years, and one evening, I was on the way to a concert, and I was listening to some music. Mexico is a magical place. The melody just stuck in my head. People who live in Mexico but weren't born there and don't have nationality, they're nicknamed Chilangos. So I'm a Chilango. The city gifted me this song. The roads are so melancholic. I just wanted to record it.
Las calles con su melancolía y quise grabarla. Yo creo que el mundo avanza poco a poco y me encantaría que avanzara hacia.
I think the world is moving forward, and I would like us to be able to be freed from moral prejudices, because sexuality is something very natural. We should be proud to enjoy it freely. But in this video, the main idea was not to make love of a mannequin, but to show a relationship between a couple where one person does everything and the other does nothing. One half of the couple is in automatic mode.
I
started playing music at a very young age. I wrote my own songs, but I didn't have the courage to sing them. I played in bars, on the street, in circuses, in many different places. And then I did this reality TV show. I wanted to record my own songs, but I couldn't, because television is not a place for that. I was also afraid and ashamed to show what was within me. So I had the feeling that I had to pursue a quest. And one day a friend said to me, "You want to go to Mexico?" And I said yes. It could have been any country. I was very young and I said, okay, we'll see what happens. But it was only in 2010 that I started recording my first album.
Fue hasta el año recién 2010 que yo empecé a grabar mi primer álbum.
Luego te sientas en la mesa, hablamos del futuro de nosotros, de nuestros gatos. Me pregunto
Cuando estoy
When I'm in a place like Paris, I look out the window of the beauty, and I think life is incredible. I come here more and more, and if someone likes my music here, that's incredible. One day I'm going to live in Paris. It's always been a dream of mine to come here and write something in this beautiful city.
mientras preparo el desayuno, me siento terriblemente sola. De pronto siento ganas de morir. Quiero escaparme de ti.
Edith Piaf la amo, pero así con locura.
Edith Piaf, of course. I love her very much. My mother used to put me to bed with her music. I went to the Père Lachaise to leave her a flower. It was very strange because we have our idols. She is so magical to me that it seemed impossible. We don't realize they're human beings, but as I was standing next to her grave, I was very sad because I realized that she was dead. I really love her.
Next, what do Diana Ross, Marvin Gaye, and the Jackson 5 have in common other than being awesome? They were discovered by the same record label, Motown. It's celebrating its 60th anniversary this year with a musical tribute, of course. Selena Sykes and France 2 take us on a blast from the past through a history of the legendary record label.
In the music world, Motown is more than just a record label, but a genre of music that went on to shape the sound of the 20th century. This cover group is paying tribute to some of its greatest hits, from Mary Wells to Marvin Gaye. The story of soul began in the city of Detroit with boxer Berry Gordy, who decided to throw his hat into a different ring. In 1959, he created the music label Motown, a reference to Detroit's nickname Motor City as the capital of America's car industry. Martha and the Vandellas were one of the first to hit the big time with the label, and soon after that, Motown became a brand.
He had as much control as possible over the creative force that Motown became. Singers, songwriters, musicians, publishing, all of those things, so that he didn't depend on anyone else. His influence, that time he spent on the production line in Detroit, made him think about a production line.
Over the course of the 1960s, Motown continued to produce chart-topping artists, including Diana Ross and the Supremes,
Papa was a rolling stone.
The Temptations,
Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died,
The Four Tops,
I'll be there with the love that will shelter you.
and the Jackson 5. Together, they were more than artists signed to the same label.
Motown's a family. We saw that from the beginning. Sometimes Diana Ross was the secretary. Sometimes she was singing in the choir. And sometimes she was the main singer. Gordy created an atmosphere in a way that meant people relied on and fed off each other.
The catchy lyrics and gospel-influenced vocals soon became known as the Motown sound. It may no longer produce the same flow of chart toppers in 2019, but it still influences contemporary artists, such as French soul singer-songwriter Ben L'Oncle Soul. For him, having the Motown brand on his record counts for a lot.
For me, it's like the fruition of everything I liked listening to during my childhood. It's inspirational, it's encouraging, and then of course, it was a really proud moment for me to have this label on my records.
With a plethora of iconic songs and artists, Motown remains a bedrock for many musicians today, 60 years after its creation.
We'll finish with a new music release. British singer-songwriter Devonte Hines, aka Blood Orange, has released a new mixtape called Angel Pulse. Hines performed, produced, and mixed the 14-track tape, which he says is somewhat of an epilogue to last year's Negro Swan. We'll leave you with a trailer for Angel Pulse. Remember, you can get more music, arts, and culture on our website. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. There's more news coming up on France 24 right after this.
Oh.